everyone. Welcome to the new studio, which is all done finally. So today I'll kind of pick up where we left off last time, which was a couple months ago. We've been really busy since then, so that's why I haven't made too many videos. So I think last time when we left off, we were basically ready to put in insulation, then drywall, painting, flooring, all that kind of stuff. So since then, all that's happened, and so I'll throw up a few pictures here while I talk about it. Before we left on vacation is when I put up the last video, and when we were gone, they got the insulation and windows in, and the wall to the house opened up, and the door put in, all those things. Then drywall, which took a long time, painting, which me and my family did. It was a lot of painting because since it was fresh drywall, we had to put primer, 2 coats of primer on everything, 2 coats of the paint on everything. So it was a lot for a room this size. Then after that, we had a weekend where my friend Brian and my brother and bandmate Steve came over, and we got all the acoustic panels hung up and the desk put together and the keyboard walls put up and all that stuff. So I will talk through some of that stuff and give you a brief tour of the room. I won't get into technical stuff. I'll save that for another video. But I'll just give you a rundown of the whole thing. And I think last time I showed you building the acoustic panels. Now I can show you how we hung them and the acoustic cloud, which is above my head right now. So stay tuned. Okay, so I'll first talk about the acoustic panels since that was kind of covered in the last video now that they're done. So we basically use these little brackets. They came from Amazon. I think they're intended for like small speakers or something. So most of them have 2 of those on them. So I've got the 4 2-inch panels in this area. So there's one kind of on the right and the left, and then one behind each of the studio monitors. And then the 2 4-inch panels, I hung straight back from the desk to catch those reflections. And then this is the ceiling cloud with the lights and everything installed. So I'll stand on a stepladder or something and show you how we hung that up too. Okay, so I'm up here on the ladder. The way we hung up the ceiling cloud, and as you might recall, it was built the same way as the other stuff. It's 4 foot by 4 foot in the middle, 4 inches thick, so it's got 4 pieces of insulation in it. I did put like a center brace made out of angle iron just to help support the middle. And then on top I put these hue lights, the gradient rope light like things, and they plug into an outlet we had installed on the ceiling. And the way we hung the thing up, which I need to clean up our mess a bit here, but I bolted these screw eyes. They go through a piece of wood and bolted on both sides, and then this screws into the ceiling joists. And I bought these things also from Amazon, which I think they're designed for like hanging heavy mirrors and stuff like that, but they each hold like a ton of weight. So I just looped it through there and clipped it onto that one, and then the excess is just laying up there, and that allowed us with this thing to adjust the height exactly where we want it, and using tape measures and a level and stuff, we got it just right. So the other part of this was I built it just like the panels, but then I covered it in the landscape fabric and put the insulation in, and then I added like another 1 by something on top and then covered it in fabric, and that way I had something to screw into for the mounting options and such. So overall I think it turned out really good, and like the sound difference before and after we put it up is huge difference. So that's the ceiling cloud. Okay, so now I'll give you a little walking tour of the studio without doing too much techie stuff, and we'll do a new studio tour eventually. So here in the middle is the desk I built on the standing desk legs, and it does that whole thing. It's come in really handy. I really like having the standing desk. And mounted on it in the racks, I have my 3 500 series racks, interfaces, power, sync, that kind of stuff. And then the trusty old Roland A70 is my main controller here, along with my MIDI sequencer, all the normal stuff, headphones and such. I really love this arm we got for the monitor. I can pull it towards me and pull it down, since I can't see half the time. So and the laptop sits there. I'm still using my 2017 MacBook Pro for my computer. Yeah, so that's the desk and the monitors. And so to the left is the rack, and it's been rearranged quite a bit. The mixer's on it, rack mount synthesizers are in it, the old stuff like the Romplers and stuff, plus the synths, patch bay. And then this is also where all the pedals are. So the Moog stuff's in the rack, and up top I finally have a place for my zillion pedals here. And they're all powered with a couple power supplies. Got various cables for the pedals mounted to the side. My bass pedal board, one of my basses here. And the recording mic's just stored here for now. And then this is one of the keyboard walls. These are the wider keyboards, and they also happen to be like the polyphonic synths on this side. And that's working really well. So, and as I showed you, there's acoustic panels all around. This is the mini split. That's how we're doing HVAC in here. Kind of your typical thing people do these days. Have one of my bass guitars over here. On this side, I've got 2 walls of narrower keyboards, mostly monosynths. The Op6 is not a monosynth, but most everything else is. And these also tend to be things that can connect to modular stuff, so that's why I kind of stuck them together. Then all the tabletop stuff, matrix roots also on the table, rack with interfaces and patch bays. And then this is actually the desk I used to use for my main desk. It's now for all the modular synth. And then the table next to it's got the Roland modular synth also. And I got stuff like a rolling cart to keep stuff I regularly need and things like that. I'm about ready to rearrange a lot of the modules because I have a couple things to put in. So I'm really happy with the layout. I was really hoping there'd be a big enough walkway to do it this way, and it turned out great. Absolutely love it. The windows haven't been too much of a problem. We have these blackout blinds covering them, so the light's not a problem for sure. Lighting wise, we did do the hue lights, all of them. They're BR30 bulbs plus the rope light thingy. And I've got a switch on the wall where I can quickly switch through a handful of programs, but of course the app, you can do anything with that. Also, it's the door to the outside. I got a mini fridge in here, a workout area, mostly for my wife, a big TV and a hi-fi system. As I showed you in the last video, it's wired for Atmos surround, though right now I've just got like 5.1. These are all speakers my brother gave me when he got a new system, so I had them sitting here. Sounds great in here, actually. Over here is the giant closet I may have mentioned before. I actually just finished halfway getting it done yesterday. With the 9-foot ceilings, you can stack stuff really high. All music stuff. And so then I got cables galore mounted here on the wall just to get them out of the way. And this is stuff like patch cables and stuff I would use mostly. Networking stuff with all those zillion network jacks is up here. And then I've got all the other cables organized into these bins and stuff for things I might use pretty regularly. So that is mostly it. Really happy with it so far. We've recorded vocals in here once already, and it's going really well. So what's next? Well, there's a few things that still need to be done. I have a few more holes to patch from mess ups, and also I haven't showed you this, but this door isn't done yet. This is just a temporary door. We got this giant 3-foot wide door, and it's just a hollow cheap one right now. We're waiting on the actual door, which is going to be a solid core door, and they'll put the threshold in at the same time. It's just everything's taking forever to get. Other than that, I would say most everything's done. The other thing that happened right after we set up the room, our subwoofer died. It just went crazy, so I have a new one coming that's very much like the old one. And the old studio is now one of my kids' bedrooms, so that's all set up too. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. So far, there's nothing I would really change. I mean, we put in lots of outlets. Maybe I would have put in a couple more, but you know, that's how it always goes. I won't open the windows because it's a disaster out in my backyard still. We're still waiting to get our new deck, and so there's still lumber laying everywhere, and it's muddy and gravelly and a mess. So one day when that's done, we can tour the outside of the building. Also, we got our house painted since then too, so everything's looking better out there, just not quite done. Another thing I'm still going to do is get curtains. I'm going to get something pretty hefty to help kind of absorb sound that we can shut, like if we're recording or, you know, shooting a video or something, we can make sure all the lights blocked. So that's something we still haven't done either. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of the new studio. Stay tuned because I will do like a tour of all the techie stuff and all the gear and how I hooked it all up. Because as you can see, I've got very few wires going between the desk and either side. That was by design, so everything's worked out really well with that stuff. So thanks for watching, and catch you next time.